Week in review, November 13th, 2023. At bailed out 30. Why is the answer for more revenue widening the gates for quarterfinals? Why not the route of incentivizing affiliates to get their members to actually sign up for the Open? Loads of people do the Open workouts and participate in intramural Opens at affiliates without paying. Incentivize affiliates to sell official Open registration to their membership. You're absolutely right. The Open is a place where we want to encourage affiliate owners to get their members to engage and sign up and participate for a variety of reasons, for competing on a global level with like-minded individuals, obviously. And yeah, sure, it ultimately really does help our revenue goals for that stage. And that ultimately helps with everything we do in the season, to include broadcast, to include streaming. To your first point, to include the entire event. Everything we do, the Open and the foundation there, really helps pull off the rest of the season and the games. The first statement, why is the answer for more revenue widening the gates for quarterfinals? That's not the answer for more revenue. That wasn't the reason for widening the gates for quarterfinals. Look, the quarterfinals are entirely voluntary. It all is, right? Meaning you can sign up for it if you want to do it or if you don't. So widening the gates for quarterfinals is really about more opportunity for athletes to compete. Think about it this way. At 10%, there's a lot of people who aren't able to compete that might really want to do extra testing or some extra events. So why not open it up? We started asking ourselves these questions, and then we started looking at the numbers, and the question became, well, do we open it up to 15%? Do we open it up to 20%? And as we were going through this exercise, I was looking at the stage and looking at the name quarterfinals and thought, hey, why not just open it quarterfinals? Why not just open it up to 25%? And so that's where that came. I mean, it could have easily been 15%. It could have been 10%, but it plays actually really nicely with the name of the stage, quarterfinals. So quarterfinals, we're taking 25%. And hey, look, like that many people won't do it. Like everyone down to 25 won't, but there's a lot of people who will. And someone like myself at 25%, I'll definitely be able to hit that 20. I think I'll definitely be able to make that 25%, and I'll do it. At 10%, there was no way I was going to be able to do it. So it's largely about increasing the opportunity for a lot of people to play. And if you don't want to play or you don't want to pay, you don't have to. So that aspect isn't where we're going to significantly increase the revenue. Where we are going to significantly increase the revenue is just by having more people sign up and do the Open, and encouraging members and encouraging affiliates to support the Opening and get behind it. At Aaron McNew 8936, there have been rumors that CrossFit hasn't paid athletes from the games and that semifinals was just paid out. Is this standard SOP for CrossFit regionals games in the past, or are there outlying situations that cause this to be delayed? I'm sure it's never been immediate payout, but it seems wild that it's about to be Thanksgiving and people haven't been paid. I'd assume to help push the professionalization of the sport, stuff like that would get cleaned up. However, I literally know nothing, and I'm just a schmuck who asks questions to stir the pot. Yeah, it's always been like this. It takes a really long time to get all the testing back, to get the right levels of it back, to make sure that we're not paying people out, and then if a result comes back negative, asking for the money back, essentially. So yes, it's always taken a really long time. I wish it didn't take this long. I wish it was quicker, but that's the way it is currently. We'll look into it to see if we can reduce those times, but we don't have control over what happens once the testing company takes the labs and then all the work they go through to get the results back to us. But yes, it's always been a really long time. At PTA Dellin, also love that you're sharing about intermittent fasting and keto. I wanted to add that people might be turned off by keto, not knowing there are things such as cyclical ketogenic diets, period of low carb days, and periodical refuel days that might be more applicable to athletes and also a barrier of entry to lower precise carb diets. I might be wrong thinking it's similar protocol to you are using, right? In my experience for myself and people I coach, a combination of CKG, intermittent fasting, and macro tracking are a golden trifecta of successful body composition and positive metabolic hormonal changes. Yeah, I mean, I fast and I go low carb, but I also, especially on the weekends, I'll have days where I ramp it up and I eat a lot of carbs. So I do have this kind of cyclical nature of no carb, low carb, a lot of carb. But the lot of carb is not about refueling necessarily. It's more about just I enjoy carbs and treating myself. Dave, I enjoyed hearing about, this is at writer Adam. Dave, I enjoyed hearing about your eating fasting routine. I'm curious to know when you work out in the course of the day. Before you eat, after your first meal, do you have a reason for the timing of your working relative to your eating schedule? I typically work out at 10, 11. With the recent just really busy schedule, I'll work out in the afternoon, 3 or 4. There was a time recently where I was starting to work out at 8 or 9, but I kind of dropped off that because I'd rather use that time to go shooting go practice shooting prior to work calls. So usually in the afternoon, and often I will try to do my workout fasted. So towards the end of my fast, if possible, especially when I do 24-hour fasts, I like to, hold on, my dog's almost getting in a fight. I like to do, if I'm going to do a 24-hour fast and I'm going to work out that day, I'll try to work out at like the 23-hour mark. Even if I'm doing a 16-hour fast, I'll try to work out at the 15-hour mark. At Ben Alderman, 3914, where does unknown and unknowable fall into the hierarchy of the tenets of CrossFit? I.e., how important is the introduction of new movements, rep schemes, and time domains that are not well known to the community? Well, the unknown and unknowable part, that tenet really plays big into the games and everything we do there. And that's like the workouts being announced at the last minute, et cetera, like that. In terms of and even honestly, the open, the unknown and unknowable component is massive in the open. In terms of to the community, what's happening in affiliates and the way CrossFit's programmed and put out there, it's harder to really dose the unknown and unknowable, except for the idea that gyms sometimes put out workouts the night before or the morning of. So that means people go in and find out about the workouts at the last minutes. Unknown and unknowable doesn't mean it's completely random with no plan. It just means that that individuals are finding out about them at the last minute. How important is the introduction of new movements, rep schemes, and time domains that are not well known to the community? Only as important as they still meet our other criteria of they move large loads, long distances quickly, and they increase work capacity across broad time and modal domains. There's a point where you're just getting gimmicky. And so there's a fine line between just trying to be unknown and unknowable with gimmicks or being unknown and unknowable with our actual core methodology. A couple other things I want to talk about quickly. Chad, so I did that this weekend. Did it actually on Sunday because I had a really busy Saturday. I actually used more weight accidentally. I had 52 or 53 pounds on my ruck. Did it in about an hour. I think it was 12 minutes. I think the fastest I've ever done it is just over an hour, and felt good. Hard. Just kept trucking through. Just kept moving. It was actually thought a lot about just that phase of my life. Chad and other people we've lost throughout the years. So it was a nice tribute, and it definitely for me, it makes me think about those things and those people in a way that I typically don't. And I think that's the power of Chad, just making us, and Veterans Day in general, just making us remember and think about those people, those moments in our lives and those events. Also want to highlight we just posted CrossFitHealthSummit.com. So in Saturday, February 3rd in Austin, Texas, I'm looking at the website right now. we have a CrossFit for Health Summit. Join us for an unparalleled gathering of minds at the forefront of fitness and health. The day will be packed with insights from leading experts, educational discussions, and networking opportunities, all within the vibrant atmosphere of the CrossFit community. Go check out this page. Register if you want to go. I will be there. I'm going to lead a workout. I think the website actually talks about that. Workout with Dave. Take your summit experience to the next level with the workout led by Dave Castro. Sweat, learn, and most importantly, have fun. Must be registered for the in-person event. Bunch of summit highlight, or actually on the webpage, they mention all the speakers, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, a bunch of other doctors who are presenting. There's an in-person VIP experience. There's just an in-person, they're selling, the workout with me is limited. So if you want to do that, you have to also pay for that, but it's limited to 50 people. Can't make it in person. You won't miss out on the knowledge and inspiration our speakers deliver. Tune in from the comfort of your home so you can actually live stream it too. So check this out. It looks like it'll be a really good event. Karin Thompson will be hosting it, and I will be there for sure. So super exciting. CrossFit for Health Summit 2024 in Van Zant, Austin, Texas, February 3rd, 2024. All right, that's it. I'm actually headed to the airport. I got to go to Colorado for some meetings, so that's why I'm kind of rushing through this one. All right, thanks for tuning in. As always, comment in the comment section.